Welcome back to the program. Now, if one of your New Year resolutions is to get yourself a new computer or at least to upgrade your software, you should be aware of the new risks in the world of cyberspace, at least in this new year.
Even as cyber criminals continue to find new ways to get around even the most sophisticated security systems, what are some security trends that we should watch out for this year? Well, let's find out more from David Hall from Symantec, a company providing security software products. Good morning, David. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So let's kick it right off. What do you think are the top IT security issues that we should be concerned about this new year?
Well, what's going to be happening in 2010 is that the attacks on you are going to be become a lot more sophisticated and targeted. So they're not necessarily going to be sending out a big, broad attack that tries to attack absolutely everyone. They're really going to be working on trying to infiltrate your trusted or your friend networks, especially in things like social networking, because you're more likely to click on a link that's come from a friend than double-click on an attachment from a stranger.
That's right.
But that makes it harder for us, because if you're going to pretend you're my friend and send something to me, of course I'm going to open it and then, well, I get attacked. How do you prevent that from happening? What are the steps you can take?
Well, what the cyber criminals are doing is buying and selling your identities online. Now, they love wherever there's crowds and wherever there's inbuilt trust. So what's always wise is to make sure that you've got an up-to-date security suite. Your traditional antivirus product isn't designed to know about these new style of attacks. So you've got to make sure that you're using one of the new generation security technologies that protects your identity online.
That's going to be tough. I'm just thinking, how will this software program know when your friend is a real friend or a fake friend? I mean, can it actually distinguish between the two?
Well, what they're going to try to do is send you a link and lead you to a website, and that's hosting malicious software or going to try and collect your confidential information. Now, good security products should know about websites and the reputation of those websites. But nothing beats good old cyber street smarts. So if your friend starts talking to you in a different style or starting to tell you that they've been hijacked or something, using very alarmist technologies to try and get you to do something, always use that sense online that it doesn't feel right, and don't be forced to click on any link, because every single click does matter, and you want to make sure that you're being careful about that.
So antivirus software alone is definitely not enough. That's what you're saying. Because of this new style of attacking, what other new trends are you noticing as well when it comes to such, malicious attacks?
Well, what cyber criminals are doing is to try and get around traditional antivirus. Traditional antivirus normally looks for pieces of bad software. Well, now what they do is they create so many pieces of unique malicious software that your antivirus product just can't keep up with that. So there's a new kind of technology based about the reputation, because now more bad software is created every day than good software. So instead of just looking out for the bad software, if you look out for the reputation of every software, that's how the new generation security technologies have really closed that gap that the cyber criminals are using at the moment, which is unique malicious software.
I guess so they're going to be looking at the companies behind it, where it came from, which servers are hosting it, because I think, well, the bad guys need a server to host their programs as well, right? So that kind of comes into that. I never actually thought about that. But
well, what's really, really important is that, remember when you used to stay away from the bad websites, you used to be okay. But the cyber criminals work this out. So now what they do is they attack good or trusted websites. So it's just your normal good websites that can be hosting malicious software. And that's what's changed. So it's a little bit different about how malicious software writers 10 years ago used to get an email, and you used to get a lot of email with malicious software attached. Just now, by surfing the web, even good websites can actually lead to malicious downloads.
Sometimes when you're talking with friends, those who are using Mac will say, that's why I use Mac. You should be using Mac, because the perception is it's much more stable and safer to a certain extent. Is that necessarily true?
There's a little bit of truth behind that, because the cyber criminals, it's their full-time job. And what they're doing is that they're following the market share. So if they want to work 8 hours a day, they'd rather target something that they're going to make a lot more money out of. But Mac users aren't immune. So really, whether you're using a Mac, a PC or a smartphone, you're browsing the web. And we've seen this with phishing-style attacks, where have you ever seen followed a link from email and seen that it's taken you to someone that's asking your confidential information? doesn't matter whether you're on a Mac, a PC, or surfing on your Wii. It doesn't really matter because the threats are targeting your identity, not necessarily just the PC these days. So we all need to be careful.
Which also makes me ask, because now our iPhones, our Blackberries, all that, everything's integrated, it's all connected. So I'm surfing online on my phone. Is that going to be a problem as well?
Expect to see that a growing trend in 2010. As I mentioned, that really the cyber criminals are going to be targeting where they can make money. And as more and more of these smartphones, we get more and more connected in more and more ways, they're always going to be looking for that weakest link to try and trick you into giving out your confidential information, which they can sell on the black market.
So if it's your identity they're going after, I guess instant messaging is not spared as well.
Back to our point of you're more likely to click on a link from a friend. Now, normally instant messaging programs, when you set up an account, you know, have you ever had to type in that strange word that's squiggly? Yep. That's designed so automatic tools can't do it themselves. But they're working ways around this. They're sometimes getting people, paying them a very small amount to be able to crack that and create these instant messaging accounts. So they're using a very hybrid method to be able to do that. But what they're really trying to do is it's a lot more valuable for a cyber criminal to get one of your friends' instant messaging accounts because it's got inbuilt trust. So always be wary of following links that are unexpected, and make sure that you're very careful about following those links.
You know, the tough thing here is I think we are the weakest link, in the whole system, because you're curious about somebody who sends you something. It's always got an attractive title, and you want to find out more. And
honestly, what are you going to do if your friend messages you? I mean, your normal quick reaction is to click on it and trust it.
Well, that's where education is so important here. So if you understand what are the latest threats out there, you're a lot more empowered to be able to be protected against these latest level of threats. A good security software, a good security suite, and this is not just antivirus, it's something that knows your identity, can help you there. But if you take a few steps to be able to educate yourself as well, you're going to be a lot safer than the next person. And cyber criminals are just looking for the weakest person. If your lock is they'll just move on to the next door neighbour. So if you just take a few simple steps and take a little bit of time to be able to help understand what's going on.
What's the best way to educate yourself? Just Google online and just read up on articles?
We've created at Symantec a very helpful resource called everyclickmatters.com, and you can take a bit of time to be able to have a look through there. But some simple things you can do today is change your password. Don't use the same password in all of your websites. It's hard to remember all the different passwords, but if a cyber criminal can get one password, then they can guess a whole lot more. So that's something you can do right now that dramatically increases your security posture.
And would you advise changing your passwords like every 3 to 6 months or something like that?
Yeah, I would change your password regularly and make sure you've got different passwords for different websites as well. That's super important. So because if they can guess one, they can guess a lot. If they can get into your email account, they can reset the other passwords and have them sent to your email account.
That's right.
So make sure you're using different and good security software should have some tools in there to be able to help manage your passwords as well.
You know, it's simple, but it's so hard because we're just so lazy and you don't... Yeah, I hate that when they send you every month and you got to have, I don't know, 2 numbers, how many characters in caps and in what... And you're like, no, I just did it last month, You're like, all right.
Well, thanks so much, David.
Thank you.
Educating us on this. David Hall giving us his expert opinion on security trends to watch out for this year 2010. Well, changing passwords, one simple way, I'm sure all of us can
my New Year resolution. I'll go back today, change all my passwords, but then I have to write it down somewhere because otherwise I'll forget.
That's the one thing, you don't want to lose that.
You're with Prime Time Morning on Channel News Asia. We're off for a quick break. Stay with us. Back in 2 minutes.